How is it going, everyone? Today we're with an old-fashioned DVD review for you guys. Today, of course, will be about WWE TLC Tables, Ladders, and Chairs 2018. For those who do not know, I actually attended this event live back in December. I do have a live review of the show on my channel, so if you guys want to go ahead and check that video out and review, go feel free to do that. But this video, of course, will be about the DVD version of it, the network airing of it, I guess you can say as well. As I always say more times, go ahead and jump right into the video with a look at the DVD. Of course, as you guys can see right here, I think it's a great cover. You know, this pretty much is the exact same as the pay-per-view event t-shirt, the same exact way the front was formatted, but I do think it is a great DVD cover. Of course, you do have all 4 main matches on it. You have Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey right there, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins, Asuka, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and of course AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan. So your 4 main core matches, as well as a TLC logo right in the middle. 2018, because this is the 2018 TLC event, home video exclusive sticker, of course, as a 2-disc set. So yeah, great cover if you ask me. And then of course, to go to the inside, you have a trading card you get with each copy. Mine was Seth Rollins. I'm not sure if Seth Rollins was in all the TLC copies, but this was the card I got. This is of course the receipt for parking at the venue for when I went to TLC. And of course, you have disc 1, which is just a red background, as well as disc 2, which is just a white background. They don't really care about disc artwork, because that's not what they're targeting for. They're not targeting for DVD sales anymore, so they don't really put any effort into these. And of course, here is the spine, what it looks like on the your shelf when you put it on there. And of course, you guys can see a picture of Charlotte Flair, Asuka, and Becky Lynch, TLC, and then of course you have Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose 2018. Here is a side look at the spine right there. And of course, to go to the back, which, this is pretty much your typical WWE DVD pay-per-view back cover now, where you just have all the photos, or just a bunch of random photos of the event, as well as a little description. The one thing I don't like is when they put the results like this. Like, there's no need to have Asuka with the championship and Braun pinning Corbin. It's just stupid that they put those, if you ask me. But, I like the collage of pictures, and of course, you do have your little bio, description, whatever you want to call it, right there on the back of the DVD set, which states, with the SmackDown Women's Championship hanging high above the ring, Becky Lynch must defend her Covenant title against Asuka and Charlotte Flair in the first ever triple threat Women's TLC match. The new Daniel Bryan makes his first WWE title defense, makes his first title defense as WWE Champion when he takes on AJ Styles. Raw Women's Champion Ronda Rousey looks to settle unfinished business against Nia Jax, and a brotherhood becomes a battlefield when former Shield members Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose collide for the Intercontinental Championship, plus more. Tis this season for some TLC, no, not tender loving care, tables, ladders, and chairs. So that is a look at the DVD of TLC 2018, and of course my overall thoughts on this event was, I thought it was a great pay-per-view. Being there live, I thought it was an awesome show. I really enjoyed it, and going back and watching it back on the WWE Network as well as this DVD, I thought it was a great show. Definitely arguably the best pay-per-view of WWE in 2018. I felt like you had 2 matches of your contenders on the show as well. I thought it was just very consistent, and I thought it was a very enjoyable pay-per-view, and like I said, I think it was arguably WWE's best pay-per-view of 2018. I had a lot of fun with it, and I definitely thought it was a great show, and I had I was very glad I was able to attend this pay-per-view live as well. So TLC, like I said, in my opinion, was a great show. Of course, the match we had to open the show, which happened on disc 1, of course. This is all on disc 1 about the state. You did have the Mixed Match Challenge Finals open up the pay-per-view, which was R-Truth and Carmella taking on Jinder Mahal and Alicia Fox. Wasn't much of an opener. It was only 5 minutes, and not a whole bunch happened. You had a dance break that involved the Sings dancing with Truth and Carmella, which they ended up taking the Sings out, but not a whole bunch. Carmella ended up submitting Alicia Fox with the Code of Silence to win the match and the Mixed Match Challenge. And of course, afterwards, they stated that, or at least R-Truth stated that their Covenant guaranteed vacation anywhere in the world is going to be to WWE headquarters. So that was a funny little segment afterwards. But yeah, they won the match. They won the number 30 spots in the Royal Rumble matches the following month at the Royal Rumble. So it was whatever. It was what it was. From there, I'm going to go to a triple threat match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, the Bar versus the New Day versus the Usos. This is a very good match here as well. I really wish the Usos would have got more in-ring time, because it was mainly just the Bar and the New Day going at it for a good portion of the match, until the Usos got a hot tag and pretty much ran roughshod over both teams. But it was still a very good match. The Usos, like I said, got a hot tag, which, led into a broader super kicks. There was a great spot where Cesaro was giving Kofi Kingston a suplex, and Jimmy Uso, I believe it was, did a crossbody on a Kofi as he's getting suplexed. I thought that was a great spot right there. And then that led to the finish with, Sheamus and Xavier Woods. Xavier Woods hit Insecurity, was looking for a DDT, off the second rope, but Sheamus caught him to a bro kick, which led to the finish. Sheamus pins Xavier Woods, retains the SmackDown Tag Team titles for the Bar. So that was a really good match. I just wish the Usos were more involved in it. We have the TLC match between Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman. Of course, Corbin comes out, tries to win the match via forfeit or a count out. Yeah, there was a count out, even though it's a TLC match, there's no count outs, but whatever. Corbin tried to win by a count out. Then Strowman came out and said, you know what, you did a lot of shitty decisions as GM, so I'll let people hate you, not just me, which led to guys like Bobby Roode, Chad Gable, Apollo Crews, Finn Bálor coming out. Heath Slater was the referee and turned on Corbin. Angle came out to assist the beatdown as well. They all beat down Corbin. Angle slam, coup de grace. Strowman pins Corbin to win the match. Therefore, Corbin was no longer the general manager elect on Monday Night Raw, and of course the stipulation was as well that Strowman wins. He was supposed to face Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble for the Universal Championship, but of course we all know how that ended up playing out afterwards. But yeah, it was more of a segment than a match, but it was enjoyable. I liked it. We go to a tables match. Natalya taking on Ruby Riott. Decent match here. It just went on way too long. Even though it was only like 11-12 minutes, it honestly felt like a 20-minute match. It felt like it dragged on. Liv Morgan, to her credit, took an awesome bump where she got shoulder block off the apron through a table. Sarah Logan got, slammed through a table as well. So Natalya, was picking off the Riott Squad one by one. Ruby Riott, almost came close to putting Natty through a table. Natty introduced a table with Ruby Riott on it. She pulled out her dad's jacket. Just pretty much a huge feel-good moment for Natalya, which led to the finish with her hitting a powerbomb on Ruby Riott through the table with Ruby Riott on it to win the tables match. So, like I said, it was decent. I think it was just more for a feel-good moment for Natalya than anything else. So it was what it was. From there, I'm going to Finn Bálor taking on Drew McIntyre, which I thought was a fairly good match. I think if they would have gotten more time, it would have been even better. I mean, the finish kind of didn't help the match either, but I felt like these two were on to a hot start of just having a really good fight. McIntyre was just throwing Bálor around like he was absolutely nothing, really chucking him across the ring like he was 10 pounds. And then Bálor had a really aggressive comeback where he really was laying his shit in. He locked in McIntyre on the apron, through the apron, and just started wailing on him there, and just looked very dominant. And then McIntyre introduced a chair, which led to Dolph Ziggler coming out, his super kick on McIntyre. Ziggler ended up getting involved, like I said. Then that led to Ziggler getting in the ring. Whole brawl ended up ensuing, but Bálor took advantage of it, drop kick in the corner of McIntyre, followed by the coup de grace. 1, 2, 3. Finn Bálor defeats Drew McIntyre. Like I said, minus Ziggler's interference, I think it was really heading towards something really good, and I think it should have went a few more minutes, and it could have been a really good to great match. But I feel like I said, as soon as they started hitting that stride of business really picking up, the match kind of came to an abrupt end. So yeah, still really enjoyed it though. Next we go to a chairs match, Randy Orton versus Rey Mysterio. This was good as well. I feel like it was a little slow at times, and I feel like they could have done a little bit more. But there were some nice spots. Mysterio did his his slide splash off the apron with the chair onto Orton. He tried to do a senton onto Orton, onto a chair, but Orton got out of the way, so Mysterio just ate absolute shit onto the chair. Mysterio hit a 619 at one point, but Orton was able to prevent a pin. And then of course finish came with Orton trying to hit RKO. Mysterio countered it with her Karana into a bunch of chairs, and then rolled up Orton for the 1, 2, 3. So Rey Mysterio defeats Randy Orton. Like I said, solid match. Just it could have been a little bit better, and I think they could have utilized their time a little bit more wisely, but it was still enjoyable for what it was. And then we go to the Raw Women's Championship match between Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey. This match was a surprise to me because I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it was, but it ended up being a very good match. Definitely better than the Money in the Bank match. I feel like both women worked really hard here. It was definitely a sprint. You definitely tell Nia really put the effort in this match, and her and Ronda were just clicking. Nia was slamming Ronda to the barricade on the outside. Ronda did a crossbody off the top rope to the outside of Nia at one point, and then back in the ring, there were some nice near falls. Nia Jax hit a Samoan drop for a near fall, and then Nia Jax just had a comeback, running knee, KO shot, followed by the arm bar for the submission victory. So Nia Jax submits to Ronda Rousey. Rousey retains Raw Women's Championship. Like I said, very good match for what it was. Then, of course, we go to the final match on Disc 1, which was the WWE Championship match. Daniel Bryan defending against AJ Styles. These two had a fantastic match. Like I said, definitely a match of the year contender. For sure, these two just went out there on their A game, has had a tremendous wrestling match with a whole bunch of just different counters. The transitions were so smooth, whether it was from one submission to another, or AJ, countering, or Bryan countering out of the Styles Clash, but AJ countering his counter into a Boston Crab. Just a lot of great stuff these two were able to implement. A lot of great callbacks to their previous matches around that time on SmackDown Live as well. Definitely, their characters were showing greatly. Daniel Bryan was on his heel A game, and AJ Styles was on his babyface A game this night as well. And he's got a lot of great stuff. Bryan stalling in the beginning was great. Kind of similar to his match with Brock Lesnar. It was very hard hitting, like I said. One spot I loved was Styles going for his reverse DDT, but Bryan countered it into a cravat and just chucked AJ across the ring. I thought that was a great spot. AJ hit a great 450 splash for a near fall at one point as well. And then, the match stumbled at the outside. AJ hit a phenomenal forearm off of the barricade on the outside on Bryan. Threw Bryan back in the ring. Tried to roll him up with a small package, but Bryan countered that small package into his own small package. 1, 2, 3. Dinner Bryan retains the WWE Championship. Like I said, tremendous wrestling match here. Probably the best WWE title match of 2018 as well. That was just tremendous, and loved every second of it. Thought it was a spectacular match. Of course, everything else from here on out is from Disc 2. So the following is from Disc 2, which opened up with the Intercontinental Championship match between Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. Very underwhelming match here. It was very slow, which I don't mind when you're telling a story when it's slow, and that it makes sense. I don't mind it, but I feel like they weren't really telling that story. This match should have been a brawl, but it was more just holds and just very slow wrestling. There really wasn't much to this match, and I feel like they didn't really have a game plan in terms of the story they were telling, because mainly, honestly, the whole Ambrose-Rollins feud really didn't have a story to it. The Ambrose turned on the Shield, but that was pretty much it. I don't think Ambrose really gave a decent explanation. I know he said that the Shield made him weak or whatever, but we never really got a real answer to him doing what he did. So I feel like this match really had no structure to have a story for the way they're pacing and styling this match. So definitely didn't work. They did some callbacks to some of their previous matches. Ambrose hit the Nigel lariat off the ropes, and Rollins gave him a buckle bomb or a power bomb into the barricade, which he did in their Money in the Bank match 2015. So there are some callbacks to their previous stuff, but what they're working with TLC just was not working. The finish was kind of flat too. Rollins went for the stomp, but Ambrose countered into the Dirty Deeds, which I will admit the way it was countered and the way they played that off was smooth and great. But the match just was not very good. It just, like I said, what they're trying to work with just was not working, and there's no heat, and it was just boring. It was way too long, and just the match just should have been different. But yeah, what can you do? Then of course we had our main event, which was the TLC match for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Becky Lynch versus Charlotte Flair versus Asuka. This was a tremendous match as well. All three women went out there and really had their air game. They beat the shit out of each other. There were a lot of brawls and great spots. A lot of chair and kendo stick involvement. They were smashing the shit at each other at one point. Awesome spot where Charlotte tried to spear Asuka through a table, but Asuka countered it in midair to a code breaker, so that was cool. Becky Lynch at one point set up Asuka and Charlotte Flair for a double leg drop through one of the announce tables, but Asuka got out of the way, and Becky ended up doing just Charlotte. Charlotte hit a moonsault on the outside like she always does, and then at one point she ended up doing a swanton through a table on the outside of Becky Lynch, which was a great spot considering they fucked that up at Evolution, so they were able to kind of redeem themselves here in this match. And then of course, Ronda, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Becky and Charlotte were climbing, and then Ronda Rousey came out, knocked the ladder down, and then Asuka came out, retrieved the championship, and won the match. So Asuka won the SmackDown Women's Championship. This match pretty much setting up the triple threat match for WrestleMania 35, of course, the main event earlier this year with Charlotte, Becky, and Ronda. So I didn't, obviously at the time I didn't mind it because I knew it was heading towards. But yeah, it was a fantastic main event. It was a great way to set up for WrestleMania as well. Even though this wasn't the exact moment to set up the match, but it was definitely a great part in setting it up. So that was the end of the actual pay-per-view. Like I said, that was a tremendous show. Not tremendous, but that was great. Like I said, arguably WWE pay-per-view of the year of 2018. We did have 2 matches on the Kickoff show, which were included on this DVD set. Of course, you did have the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match between Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander, which was a very good match. Definitely one of the better kickoff show matches we've ever had. Wasn't as good as the Super Showdown match from last year, but definitely was a very good one. There was some good, smooth Chris wrestling, a lot of great transitions. Cedric Alexander was very aggressive, ended up hitting an apron DVD at one point, and he dumped Buddy Murphy, and then he picked him up immediately for his finish, which I thought was great. He was definitely very aggressive, and then Buddy Murphy ended up hitting a running knee followed by Murphy's Law to retain the Cruiserweight Championship. So that was a very good match. And then we also had a ladder match, which was for the Qatar of Elias's, Elias versus Bobby Lashley. Match wasn't anything special. Elias ended up winning it by retrieving the guitar, but it didn't matter because Lio Rush and Bobby Lashley ended up beating his ass anyways afterwards. So the whole match didn't even matter, but for what it was decent. It was about as good as you expected. But yeah, like I said, I thought TLC 2018 definitely was a great show. Like I said, it was a very consistent card for the most part. There was some bad stuff, but I feel like the bad still was entertaining in its own way, and I feel like there was still a lot more on the show that was very good to great. That outweighs anything that was just bad to good. So, like I said, TLC 2018, that was a great pay-per-view. Definitely really enjoyed being there live as well as watching it back. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, please feel free to leave a like below. And of course, until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys for watching the video.